welcome back to another Indie Film Cafe Spotlight. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody. I'm here with my co-host.
Paulie Presenza, otherwise known as the Moo Cow. Moo!
And we have a special guest here. He hasn't been on this show, but I have interviewed him before because how I met him, I'll explain this, is I was on my old podcast, Indie Corner Radio, the original Independent Corner Radio, and I had Tiffany Shepis on my show. And Tiffany Shepis was like, well, messaged me one day on MySpace, that's how long ago it was, and was like, hey, how far away from Richmond, Virginia do you live? And I said, an hour away. And she was like, do you want to come on a set and, and see what a real set's like and stuff like that? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, okay, let me check with the directors first and see if that's okay. And so she did. And then she said, yeah, they said that's cool. And she gave me the address. And I came up with my friend Nick and we showed up and, got to meet a whole bunch of the people for Zombthology, including our special guest here, Robert Elkins. How are you doing, Robert?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. It's funny that you should bring up Zombthology first because I just watched Zombthology like a week ago for the
Yeah.
first time in years. It's on one of the channels you can rent it for like $1.99, and I don't even have a copy of it. But I went back and watched it, and I just forgot how much fun I had working on that. And Tiffany Shepis was so nice. I cut her thumb off, by the way.
Not in real
Not
life,
not,
though.
not in real life, no, in the movie. But no, I got to do the makeup effects on her for the segment, the wraparound segment. But yeah, it was just funny that you mentioned Zombthology because I just literally watched it about a week ago. Because
How
it
is it
then
watching it now as opposed to like what you remember?
I forgot that I had nudity in it because most of my movies don't really have a lot of nudity or barely any, well, really none. And I forgot that this one did.
They
And
always seem to have pretty girls, though.
well, I try. But no, but I went back and I actually was trying to, because I'm getting ready to try to cast for the new one, which I know we'll talk about in a little while. But and I'm trying to, so I was like, oh, I cannot remember what it's like. What is that girl's name? And I can't remember. I had to wait for the credits, and I was like, let me see if she's still on here. And I reached out to one of the girls that was in the segment, and I reached out to two of them, and I haven't heard back from me. Well, I couldn't find one of them, and so I reached out to one, and I haven't heard back from her. So I was just curious, because I'm trying to cast it, and I haven't. It's been a little while. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, so I'm trying to
Get
find
back
some
into it.
some new. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So I would love to see you work with Danae again. Like I absolutely love
wait,
Danae.
she's out in
I
California.
know, but you could. I mean, somehow if you could kind of
Yeah,
have her
well,
come out.
yeah. I don't have that kind of budget, Jonathan.
Can I bring up my favorite
No,
then?
but I would. Yeah, I would love to work with her again.
The
Sure.
one that I would love to see is from Alien Swamp Beast, and that's Sarah Bella. What happened to her?
He went out. She's out in California too. The last I heard.
Yeah.
You know what? And it's funny. Just to refresh my memory, I just am sitting here. Why I was watching Alien Swamp Beast, and actually I froze it and paused the movie to so we could do this. And I'm looking at a still shot of Sarah Bella and Tony Jones dressed up as FBI agents headed into the swamp.
Nice.
But it's funny you should bring her up. Yeah, I'd love to work with her again, but I know she went out to she moved out there, and I haven't really heard from her. I think Tony communicates with her every once in a while, and so
Nice.
apparently she's doing really well. I mean, she's very talented,
She
and
is.
yeah, we had a great time. I mean, she's very professional, very fun to work with, and well, everybody on the movie. I forgot how many people were actually in Alien Swamp Beast that were in so many of my other movies, just in cameos, and I'm sitting here, getting emotional about it because it's funny because it's like, wow, it's like I haven't worked with these people in a while because I've kind of been on a little bit of a hiatus here, but we're coming back full force. So it's American Eyesore's Phoenix Rising from the Ashes. We're gonna do some good stuff over the next few months here.
Sweet.
Nice.
But
So tell us, like, anyway, how did like American Eyesore come together? Like, how'd you even come up with the name?
well, well, I made a couple of shorts, which back in like 2005, I started. I mean, we always did Super 8 films in high school. We made a zombie movie, me and a buddy of mine, and he's a tattoo artist now, owns his own shop. And we made a zombie movie. I mean, it was complete ripoff of Dawn of the Dead. And he had his parents had a house out in it's out in Matoka, which is like a lot of country, and they had a lot of woods, and so we filmed it all down in the woods, and they had these dirt roads in the woods, and we were driving trucks around and running over dummies, and we were back then. You could go to the grocery store and buy like, oh, I remember it was you could buy pig brains in a container, and we were
What?
Wow.
using those as intestines, ripping them out of. Yep, they used to sell pig brains in little plastic tubs like they sell chicken livers in. I
Right.
used to could find those. You can't find them anymore. But they made great. They looked great on screen as intestines. So we were like, we were ripping off every special effect we could find in Dawn of the Dead and putting it in our movie. And I mean, I've actually it was Super 8, and we edited it together. And my buddy was he actually had found a copy of it, and it's I've posted parts of it on my Facebook before because we never actually finished it 100%. But I mean, and I look back at it, it's like, man, I was young and skinny, and it was like, man, because we were like 17 making this. Uh, I got my eyeball ripped out in it, but
Nice.
yeah, I had like short spiked hair, dyed almost like a reddish color, and we had a good time making it though. I mean, it was like a predecessor to all the other stuff that I've worked on, and then right around 2005, I started trying to do a couple of shorts. I did a short called Clown, and
Was that about a
which was about
clown?
it was about a zombie clown.
Uh,
Uh, it was the basic premise of it was that the wife of the clown and this her boyfriend murdered him and didn't show any of it, of course. But and then they go to his grave on the anniversary of his death, and of course he got buried dressed in his costume. And he comes out of the ground and comes and kills the guy and takes her and takes her down into the coffin with him and kills her just for it was a revenge story, just like a Tales from the Crypt episode. But the clown looked cool. I mean, we actually filmed that in Blandford Cemetery in Petersburg at night. I mean, we went out there with lights and everything, and nobody ever even knew we were out there filming. So it's actually in a real cemetery. And I don't know if you know, Blandford Cemetery is like the big cemetery in Petersburg. It's like a historical cemetery. But so yeah, but we actually filmed it there, and haven't been able to even I've tried to look up the folks that were in it because everybody came out and just volunteered their time, and and they like all my movies, and but I haven't been able to track them down. But I don't even have a copy of it. And then I did another short called Autumn Moon. It was a werewolf movie, and it was pretty cool because it actually started snowing while we were filming, so we were out filming in the snow. And Jonathan, you know exactly where I was filming at. You know that road that I always film on,
For
the
like
one that we
Nightmare
filmed on.
Bunnyman Bridge?
We were there, not the one with the bridge, but the other one, the other part where my character was laid out on the road.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That part.
Yeah, because that's just such a it's such a cool place to shoot because it's like nobody comes down there, and there's a dead end that everybody parks in, and it's got trees on both sides. So and yeah, I will continue to use that location. But yeah, we filmed a bunch of it out there, man. It started snowing while we were filming, and it was and then I actually did a four-legged werewolf. It was I was trying to I guess I was homaging well, American Werewolf in London had just come out not too long before it. So, but I don't have I would love to find a copy of that stuff one day. I've got to go through some boxes that my are at my parents' house that may have a VHS copy of it. So I may
Oh
be able to
yeah.
track down a copy. It would be cool to see it because
Would you have
yeah,
put
just
those on like a would you put those out, so people
I
could
mean
see it?
I nobody owns the rights to them but me. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing it. I would I would have to probably touch base with the people that were in it.
Just let
But
them know what's happening or that like if they
yeah,
have
they'd
a
probably
problem
be
with that.
curious. Well, they'd probably be curious to see it too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because I never really did anything with it. I mean, I made it, I finished it, and then I started kind of moving on, trying to do other stuff. I moved on to well, that was probably 2004, 2005. So I mean, because I did my first actual feature was 2006. It was Backwoods.
mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, Backwoods, I've got better reviews for Backwoods than a lot of my other stuff. And
That's
it
the
was
one
like a
with
first.
Heather Bailey in it.
No,
She was
no,
in the
no.
sequel.
She was in the second one. Okay.
Heather, who is that? I'm trying to remember.
Heather Bailey. One of our friends is actually the sister of Heather Bailey, who was in Backwoods 2.
Yeah. So
And
she was talking to us about it and
What,
her
yeah,
what
sister's
part did
experience.
I'm trying to
she
remember her name? Who did she
played
play?
Amanda. That was her character name.
Okay.
I guess that doesn't help, like, does
Nah,
it say
yeah, I'm
what?
trying to remember. I wish. I mean, I'd have to. If I saw her, I'd remember who you're talking about. It's just
I
I
think
haven't
she's
watched it in so
blonde.
long.
She was a blonde
Yeah,
girl.
she's pretty blonde.
Well, this is one. Backwoods. Uh, Backwoods 2 is where Danae was in.
Yeah, Danae and Micah.
Yep, yep. I haven't talked to
Uh,
him in a while either.
I know,
Um,
as I think like Micah was supposed to come down for Nightmare at Bunnyman Bridge, and unfortunately something happened. He wasn't able to do it. So
he
Russ,
was in. Yeah, he was in Zombie. He was in Curse of Zombie Lake off of Zombology.
yep,
Yep.
yep,
And
and then but he was supposed to be in Nightmare at Bunnyman Bridge. I remember because I was kind of excited to meet
yeah,
him,
I'm
and
trying to.
then I think Russ took his place
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. Something happened. I think he
he couldn't
couldn't.
make it, but then Russ became the new new Micah in a way.
Yeah, Russ was playing Shaggy from Scooby Doo, basically.
Yeah, he did a
So
great
Yeah,
job.
we had a good time doing that. I really did. Uh,
I've seen
but
4 of your movies so far. I have to say,
which
Zombie
one?
Isle is still my favorite. So Zombie Isle, Alien Swamp Beast, Zombie Croc, and then Nightmare at Bunnyman Bridge, because of course Moody's in that one. Love Zombie Isle. It's my favorite, and I
Okay.
especially, and I don't know how this was on purpose or not, but I loved Crystal and April's characters and the way that they
Oh,
interacted. They were so funny, they were so precious, and I kept thinking I would pay anything to see a movie that was just with those two characters as the main leads.
that's funny. Yeah, no, that was just. I mean, see, I don't know. And Jonathan knows how we kind of operate. I kind of do I kind of do a synopsis and have the ideas for how I want to do it, and maybe I do some storyboards a little bit, but it's like it's like we improv most of the dialogue. And I mean, I'm kind of like feeding them the lines before they say them, and then I let them just kind of go with it because and they were great. They were hilarious. I thought they were funny too.
They had
The whole
such great chemistry.
Yeah.
well, cool.
Well,
They
they
somebody did a if I should have had it, I just watched it the other day. Somebody has put out a video of Zombie Isle with like it's not the riff tracks people, but it's like that.
oh,
And if I
really
can
they got a
find it,
rift.
yeah, well, yeah, and I tell you, a lot of it was they were brutal on a lot of it, but a lot of it they were accurate on a lot of it. But they sat there and watched the whole movie, and I mean, I'll send it to you. I got to find it because
Oh God, I gotta check that out because I'm in it. So like they're gonna be
Uh-huh.
talking
yeah,
about
oh
me.
yeah, they're laughing. They're saying that
Well, my
because of your
character was
hair.
creepy. Yeah, my character was
Well,
Oh,
they
the
but they
creepy.
were
wig.
Yeah, the
but they were
fro.
saying because of the wig, they were trying to say it was racial appropriation, and I was like, no, white people had afros back then too.
I know.
I know
Uh,
it was funny, but they didn't. They act like I mean they were
Mm-mm.
the stuff that there were certain things in it that they dogged out, but then there was other stuff that they liked,
right.
that they were impressed with. So I was like, it was a very fair. I don't care. I got to the point I don't care anymore about reviews. I used to when I my first couple movies, if I got a bad review from somebody, it kind of was like, wow, it's like you didn't like it, and but now it's kind of like, you know what? You've seen that review for Zombie Croc that guy did online, haven't you?
I'm
Think
not
so.
sure.
I'll have to send that to you. He did a 30-minute plus video. He does reviews. I can't remember his name. I'll have to look it up. But he did like a 30-minute video just dogging out Zombie Croc. And I mean, he takes the video and threw it across the room. He was getting so agitated about it. But he watched the whole movie and sat there, and I know he did because he was sitting there talking about details of it. So I know he watched it, and it's like, whatever. He spent 30 minutes online talking about it.
Well,
So
the one thing about Zombie Croc I will talk about is the only stuff I had seen Crystal Howell do previously was more of the comedic stuff. She really showed me how good she is with drama
oh
because
yeah,
I thought she was great in that role. I
well,
really
cool.
did.
I appreciate hearing that. I'm sure she would too. I mean,
It
she
was a
was. She
well
pulled it
written
off
role.
really well.
It was a well written role. And I think Moody says, do you come from a law enforcement background?
Yeah, I did 29 and a half years as a police officer, and I was when I retired, I was a crime scene investigator sergeant, and I was in charge of the crime scene unit. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's a lot of the stuff in it is cheesy, but it's I try to make the police stuff sort of accurate,
Yeah.
at least in my stuff, because there's so many movies that they just screw it up, and it's like I
Yep.
have no excuse for screwing it up.
And
You know?
Moody will tell you, I point that out all the time because I have relatives and friends who are in the cops, and I'm always like, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Yours
Nah.
always comes off with authenticity, and your cop characters, especially the female ones, they all come off well rounded, and I just think really well done.
Well, well, thank you. I appreciate that. It's funny. I was like I said, I put on. I was trying to figure out exactly where the stuff that is available to watch for free is, and Alien Swamp Beast is on
Tubi.
Pluto.
It was on
Pluto.
Tubi too.
Oh, it's on Tubi too.
Yeah.
Zombie Isle's on Tubi. I don't know about. Okay, it might be. Zombie Croc used to be on Tubi, but they it's not on there anymore. At least I can't find it. But yeah, Brandy Amon. I'm not sure if that's her last name now, but she played the sheriff's deputy, and she
Hmm.
did that real twangy Southern accent in Alien Swamp Beast. I thought it was great. But yeah, she was in my only non-horror movie that I've ever done, which was Vengeance is a 44 Magnum that gets absolutely no attention anywhere.
Well, I mean, did that come out?
It's out. It's available to buy. It's Worldwide Multimedia owns the rights to it.
Oh,
They
okay.
I kind of did a package deal and kind of turned over some movies to them to release, and they did a new cover for the DVD and everything. And but every time I go look it up, it's like out of stock everywhere. It used to. I mean, they used to could buy it at like Walmart.com and all kinds of places. But um, I tell you what, that one is one that I actually. It was like I said, it's my only non-horror entry. It's like a throwback to the old action black exploitation movies. And um, I mean, we filmed that where the places we filmed in that, it was like it's crazy to see because I mean I was like we would film, I'd be wearing my gun while we were filming just because of where we were because it
Mhm.
was not safe. We were straight up in the hood in Petersburg filming a lot of that stuff. But and we filmed in some abandoned buildings that I had access to.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I've been up in some of the rougher parts of Petersburg there. I mean, I remember being up there and this one lady was walking down the street and then she just all of a sudden stopped and dropped trowel right there in front of everybody and Didn't
Yeah,
matter.
that happens.
Mhm.
Yeah. I don't yeah, like I said, there's only certain areas I'll go to over there now. I mean, I'm not scared to go anywhere over there, but some places like I'm not going over there with well, I wouldn't film some of the places that we filmed there because we filmed a
Right.
lot of Flesh of the Living. A lot of that was filmed in Petersburg, different areas. But yeah, we went into a couple of areas in during Vengeance is a 44 Magnum that which I mean, there's a trailer for it online. You can see the
Well,
trailer.
I just looked it up on eBay. You can get it on eBay for 18 bucks, so it's
18?
available.
Wow, that's more than they were selling it for on Worldwide Multimedia.
There you
Makes
go.
me
Yeah,
feel good.
yeah, some yeah, so was it and these are brand new items too
Except you're not getting any money out of it, man. You got to get
Well,
some money.
I get Worldwide Multimedia. Any of the sales, like online sales. I mean, I guess you can rent it online somewhere. I do. I get a royalty check twice a year.
Hmm,
But I mean, they're not really trying to promote the stuff. And I mean,
Mhm.
I'm not bad mouthing them because I wouldn't have a lot of stuff out there if it wasn't for them.
yeah.
But they're not. That one just seems to have gotten just kind of. There's not even hardly any reviews for it out there. I
Hmm.
mean, and I think
Well, if we get a copy, maybe we'll do a review.
yeah, do a review.
I'll
Maybe we
buy it.
can.
I'll buy it for 18 bucks, you know.
I'll give you a copy if I can find one. I don't know if I even have a copy. I think Tony might have a copy of it. Um,
Yeah, I
but
loved working with Tony. I ended up working with Tony on Sasquatch versus Yeti, the
yeah,
teaser that we did, and
yeah, I
Tony
remember that.
Tony is an exceptional actor. Like he's very professional, very, just nice guy, and
Yeah,
will come out and do everything. So I
yeah.
just appreciate him being a
Well,
part of your, he's
oh yeah.
he's
Well,
part of your crew.
he's yeah. Well, I mean, ever since I met him and he started being in movies, he's been in everything. Um, it's like
So
yeah, that's why. But that's what we're trying to with the new one. I'm trying to expand it a little bit and have a few more people in it that I've never used before. Because I don't know if a lot of I mean, I've been kind of not filming anything for a few years, so I'm trying to get get back and I've been just looking for some new people that want to be in stuff.
Well,
That
me and Moody are always available.
That's fine. I'll cast anybody. Jonathan knows I've cast everybody.
well, he's casted me
What have
twice,
I always
so
said?
I mean.
Huh? Well, what have I always said? That to get cast in one of my movies, the biggest thing you have to do is show up.
Right.
That we can
I will
do.
find a role for you.
And what we love about you, and that that we do on our sets as well, is that you can't, if you can't like pay everybody the money, you at least feed everybody, something.
Yeah, I mean,
You go to
well,
the store
those damn $5 pizzas have gone up to 7.50, I think.
at
So
Little Caesars. Yeah.
Oh
yeah,
yeah, and
hot and
Moody will
ready.
tell you too, because I've been doing most of my acting with him, but I always had this thing. I have a difficulty memorizing lines, but I'm
Right.
really good at improv. Improv, I
Yeah.
can do that
Oh,
no problem.
well, see, and that's my thing. It's like improv is the way to go if you don't have, if you well, and I'm gonna tell you what. This is what the Lord damn, what's his name? Lo- Hold on. I wrote his name down so I remember. Warren Crowell. He's a big part of Worldwide Multimedia.
Hmm.
When I started working with them, and they were commissioning movies for me to make. I mean, Alien Swamp Beast was commissioned by Worldwide Multimedia. I mean, they gave me the budget for it. I mean, they didn't give me a big budget, but they gave me the money to make it. And basically, Zombie Croc was the same with Zombie Isle too. Zombie Isle was probably my biggest budget movie because they actually gave me more money on that one. Because once I think they saw kind of where it was going because I had so many zombies in it for such a low budget movie that they basically doubled the budget and gave me more money.
But the
And
ticks were free, right?
oh yeah, oh don't start talking about ticks. Backwoods was the worst tick movie though.
Mm.
Oh
God,
dang.
yeah, that oh yeah, they were. I got chiggers on that
Oh
filming that.
God, they suck.
Oh, they do. But
Literally,
anyway,
they suck.
oh yeah, literally. But no,
I've I've been a field archaeologist for a long time, so I know all
Oh
about
wow.
working in the
Yeah, well,
swamps and in the woods and getting ticks and chiggers and every other kind of nasty biting critter.
I actually have Lyme disease from a tick bite.
Oh,
And yeah, I mean, I was diagnosed with it years ago. I don't suffer like a lot of people do. A lot of people are like just disabled by Lyme disease.
mhm.
But yeah, but what was that? What was? Oh yeah, he. I just remember something he told me because I mean I started working with these folks that had an actual company, a distribution company, and I mean they put out a lot of stuff, a lot of content, and I mean a lot of it I've never seen, and a lot of it is kind of hit or miss, um, but I mean they've always been real supportive, and but it's like they were like they gave you a title, and it's like well we need a movie called Zombie Croc, and it's like okay, well, let me work on a script. And he's like, well, we don't have time for a script. I've always remembered that. It's like, man, this is a company that will invest money in stuff, and they're like, we don't have time for a script, so just make the movie. So I mean, that's kind of
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Backwoods. No, no, not really. Backwoods was probably the last movie I actually wrote a script for.
Hmm.
The
Well, I mean,
first one.
what about Curse of Zombie Lake for
Nah,
Zombology?
that
That
was
was
all
improv.
improv.
Jeez.
Everything's improv. I
Wow.
don't think I've ever maybe Backwoods 2 had a script, a partial script. But yeah, well I may have and Psychopath may have had a little bit of a script. But that was stuff I was doing on my own. I didn't, I that wasn't commissioned to do any of that.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, no,
Zombie
they were
Isle,
like
you weren't though, right? Like you weren't commissioned to do Zombie
yeah,
Isle.
that Zombie Isle was financed by Worldwide Multimedia.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay, I didn't know that they
Yeah,
financed
they
it.
Would
they
would you rather work with a fully realized script?
not really. I kind of like I kind of with the way we film and the way we try to get stuff done quickly and efficiently and as cost effective as possible. I'd rather just keep doing it the way we're doing
I
it.
mean, that's really how Donald G. Jackson was doing most of his movies too. You know, they called it guerrilla filmmaking, and the thing is he says that he didn't feel like he was locked into the structure of a script. He felt like if his actors were going in a particular way, he could allow them to explore it while still they had the general idea of what he wanted, and he would just kind of let them go, and he would get a
Yeah,
lot of stuff that otherwise wouldn't have
yeah.
been there.
I mean, and a lot of it you can just edit around, and I mean, I would give everybody and Jonathan can I would give people suggestions of stuff to say that needed to be said,
Hmm.
and it's like just say this and go, I don't know. I feel like I got better. I got more honest, better. What's the word I'm looking for? Uh,
Delivery.
just people sound delivery of the dialogue and stuff. It sounded more genuine, and it was off the cuff. It didn't like sound rehearsed.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And I don't want people to feel nervous like they've got to sit there and think they've got to memorize certain lines.
exactly.
It's like not when I can sit there and tell you what I want you to say. I mean, I don't know. I work it up in my head, and when like what I kind of and I kind of stole this from Robert Rodriguez is he's some of his guerrilla filmmaking videos that he's done gave you, and I know he had a book out that I read years ago, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a really good book. I mean, it's a lot of, and he basically is like he was always like when he would go to bed, and if he was working on a movie, he would sit there and lay there and just visualize the movie in his head and think about these scenes, and it would basically come to him as what he needed to shoot. And I always looked at it as if you know if I got 60% of what I wanted to film every day filmed when when we were shooting stuff, I was happy because you can't.
Hmm.
There's rarely ever you can rarely ever get 100%. I mean, you could
Mhm.
try, but you if you get 60% of it or if you get more than 60%, then you're doing really good. But I mean, it's just you get as much done as you can shoot. And
Well,
I would always like edit the day we filmed because we generally shot during the day. We didn't other than Vengeance is a 44 Magnum, we shot some of that at night. But that's because we were in the city. But uh I mean,
And
I would.
Nightmare Bunny Man Bridge was shot in the nighttime.
We did film that, and we did film the ending at night. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I mean, what do we use? Car headlights?
We did use car headlights.
Car
Yeah.
headlights, and
I thought that was very genius at the time because I had
well,
never seen anybody do that before.
well, thank you. I didn't know I didn't know what else to do. The actually the little generator thing that I had that was a plug into the car wouldn't work, so I couldn't get it. I couldn't get the lights to go. So
Yeah.
that's why we use car headlights.
It's guerrilla filmmaking
But
right there.
yeah,
But my biggest problem with the improv, and I'm gonna tell you this, is like this is why I won't do it, is just because there's no like when you have a script, you know how many pages are in there, you know how much time basically you're gonna
right.
have. When you're improving, you have to just keep shooting extra stuff,
Yeah,
'cause you just
but
don't
if
know.
you're, well, yeah, and I know, and but you don't have to use all of it. And
I know.
what I do is, like I said, well, and so I was headed toward a second ago. Uh, was I tend to when I'm filming, I tend to edit. Like I go straight to the computer after I get home, and after I take a shower after we finish filming, and then I load it up on a computer and I start editing. So I know because if we usually we're shooting like Saturdays and Sundays, so it's like okay, well I know what I have shot on Saturday. I've already edited it together as best as I could, and I can never say that word properly. Edited it, but and it's like I already know. So then I know when we go back Sunday if I need because yeah, some people only could come out for like one weekend. And it's like, okay, well, I know I need one little quick take of you turning this way and saying this. And so I mean, it was easier to pick up on that stuff when when you were editing at night after you filmed. It was just what I did. It worked for me. I mean, I felt like it made it a little more efficient.
And the thing is, it's such a big deal to be able to do that now. The technology is advanced that you can do that and you can edit things quickly and you can do all kinds of extra stuff. Whereas in the old days, improv was not,
Oh yeah, well,
well
because yeah,
regarded because it was film that they had to
it
expose.
cost them money.
Cost too much money, right?
Yeah, digital with digital stuff, it doesn't matter. You can shoot as much as you need to.
Right.
But yeah, I'm happy that I'm just for my daughter and my son got together and got me a brand new laptop for Christmas because I've been using about a 7-year-old laptop to edit on, and they went and got me a brand new one. So I haven't even fired it up yet. It's still in the box, but I've
Wow.
got to get my editing stuff put on it, and so I'm excited about using it because it's bound to improve my you know editing time and just just be a whole lot quicker and be able to do a little more with it than what I can do with the one I had. I mean, I was still edit, but I look back on what I edited backwoods on, and that was a laptop. Think about it, and it was a laptop that I had, the very first laptop I ever had, and this was in 2006, and that thing it looked like one of those big tough books, but it was an actual laptop. It was like it was a Dell, and
Nice.
man, that thing is probably was so slow. But I mean, but it was but I used to could watch I mean, see now I don't like the fact that they don't put CD drives on laptops anymore.
I know. Got to
Ah,
get a
that drives
separate
me
one.
nuts. But yeah, but I mean, I guess they want you to buy an external one. But yeah, they don't do it anymore and it's like, man, they were so convenient because you could actually use it as a DVD player or whatever.
Hmm.
Yep.
It
Or
was
you
just
could
nice.
work, or you could like put it onto the disc,
Yeah. Oh
itself.
yeah, you could burn your own disc.
Yeah, now
But
they don't want you to do that, I don't think. That's
nah.
probably why.
Well, see, I was using what is it? Dang it. I'm trying to remember the name of that company. Kunaki.
Kanaki.
Kunaki.com.
Yeah.
They will if you can upload if you could make at least one DVD of your movie, you can upload it and and then you do the artwork and everything and submit it to them and they put the DVD covers with the wraparound, pictures on the front and back and everything and they'll put pictures on your disc and an insert card
Good to
And I mean, that's
know.
where I was getting those done for a while when we were trying to sell our own stuff before Worldwide Multimedia. And they were pretty. I mean, I think I was paying a few dollars like for each DVD.
Right.
That was
Uh,
probably about $3 maybe each.
a lot of my friends do kunaki, and so
Yeah, I just
I
haven't used
know
them
of
in a
it.
while, and I haven't. And if you don't sell anything after a while, if you don't buy a copy of it, it'll end up getting deleted off their site. So everything that I had on there is gone now. So I'd have to upload stuff again to do it. But I'll
Like
use them again.
backwoods or so, those
Yeah, well, see,
projects.
technically I don't own the rights to Backwoods. I sold the rights to Backwoods and Backwoods 2 to some other folks, and they've never done anything with it to this
What?
day.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. They just never
Wait,
did anything
you
with it.
didn't have like a time limit where it was up at a certain
Nah,
time? You
I didn't know what I was doing. I just sold it to them. I mean, they bought the rights to because they really liked it, and they bought the well. It's the same people that did Zombology. Um, I'm not gonna mention names, but we kind of had a falling out, and I don't talk to them anymore. So over a movie that they wanted it made as cheaply as I made Backwoods for. Backwoods cost me $500.
Wow.
that's
Always,
how you do it, because
I,
then
well,
the
I
cheaper
always
you
said it.
are.
Well, I wanted it to be marketed as the $500 slasher movie. That's what I would love to. If I had the rights back to it, I'd put Backwoods and Backwoods 2 together, and I'd market it as the Backwoods being the $500 slasher movie. Because I
Nice.
mean, making a $500 feature movie is like kind of unheard of. And I learned a lot making it though. But I mean, I also did a lot more on that one because I didn't know what I was doing, and
Mm-hmm.
so I actually scripted it. And man, I was using tripods, and I, I made I had a microphone hooked to a painter's roll. I duct taped it to a painter's roll, and there was a picture. It was a picture somewhere of me holding my camera, and I had the painter's roll with the microphone clipped onto it.
As
I
your
haven't seen
boom.
that picture. Yeah, I
That's
was
funny.
standing there filming and holding the boom myself because there wasn't anybody else. It was just me,
What did you
and I was
use for recording it?
I used a what was it? I can't remember. It might have been a JVC video camera because that one was actually before you could do like a film looking setting because I shoot everything in to look like film now on my camera. I don't have to do anything to it to make it look like film because it's a setting on my DSLR that all I do is put it on 24. It looks like 24 frames per second on video, so you don't have to tweak it to make it look
That's
different.
sort of grungy 70s kind of thing.
Well, this one was straight up. No, it was more like the '80s. What do they call them? Video nasties.
Oh
That
God,
that one,
yeah.
yeah. Backwoods is like Backwoods and Backwoods 2 were both shot on video, and it's straight up video. It is video. I mean, it wasn't like
You
a
said JVC. Yeah, that's a video camera, like
yeah, but they didn't have but back then they didn't have a setting on it where you could tweak it to make it look like film.
Hmm.
right.
Because yeah, now you can do it so it looks like film on most of the cameras that are out there. I mean, like my camera's got that setting. I mean, and I shoot everything in that now. I wouldn't go back and do it. Uh, but it's almost like taking the footage from a what you call it, a GoPro, and trying to
Mm.
tweak it to make it look like not video because GoPros tend to look like video. Well, they are video.
I love those old grungy 70s kind of style things. Like you probably are familiar with like um, oh, what is the movie? The Legend of Boggy Creek. That
Yeah.
has like a certain look to it and feel to it that just captures that whole era.
What? Well, yeah, but like I said, there's this whole bunch of movies that came out. Well, I don't know what's the name of it. Z- Uh, it was a zombie movie that was shot on video, and it was shot it was like in the '80s. Redneck Zombies.
Oh
Redneck
yeah,
zombies.
yeah,
We love redneck zombies.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, that movie, okay, Backwoods and Backwoods 2 look. I mean, they're shot on straight up on video without trying to make it look like because I didn't have the capability of doing it back then.
And
I did. I
that
mean, that's all I had.
the first dozen of Todd Sheets' movies are pretty much all that too.
Yeah, I mean that's what we had. That's what we were shooting with.
Yeah.
But yeah, I, don't know, I enjoyed. I mean, I learned a lot making Backwoods and Backwoods 2. Uh, I mean, I met a lot of good people and cool people that I've been able to stay in touch with, and they've been in other stuff over the years. So, I mean, it was a learning experience. But like I said, Backwoods was. I think that one was scripted. I did script that. I think I found the original because I made copies of it originally before I'd sold the rights to it, and I made some copies on DVD, and I actually made covers and stuff like that for it. And I actually found not too long ago, I found the original artwork that I did for the cover, and I was actually going to take it and frame it.
Well, unless you specifically sold the Blu-ray rights, you probably still own those because it's a different set for every new
Format.
transition that comes out.
Yeah.
Well, I think I sold the. I think the contract I signed said that they own the rights to the character and the movie.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
I'm just disappointed they didn't do anything with it because they
Yeah,
really didn't even try.
No, I mean,
I don't know.
uh, yeah, I mean, it was a learning experience for you,
Yeah,
like after
I mean, I
that
had a
you
lot of
got
fun
to,
making it. So
yeah, and then you got
I,
to know like worldwide media, they're really good at, working with
yeah.
you.
I'd love to get a Blu-ray version of Zombie Isle, especially if you could get a couple of the folks to come back and maybe do some extras and sort of talk about their experience and talk about the characters a little bit.
we actually did film a little bit of a couple of behind the scenes stuff on it, but I don't know if I don't even know if the hard drive that I had that stuff on. I think the hard drive died, but I don't know if I have access to it. I don't know. I've still got a desktop that one of the times I've moved over the past few years, it's still in a box that had like a bunch of my stuff on it.
Yeah, I got
But
a bunch of old hard drives floating around too. But yeah, all
yeah.
that stuff's accessible. You just got to pay someone to do it.
Well, I mean, I've still got the desktop. I need to fire the desktop up because that had a well, see, the editing program I used to have a different they updated it and they took away a lot of the stuff that I liked about it because a couple of them had a really good settings on it where you could easily tweak the movie and do stuff to it. For color correction and stuff like that. And then once I think it was Windows 10 when that came out, it took away a bunch of the stuff that program would run.
Oh,
And then the newer version doesn't have the same stuff on it. But I mean, there was a couple of settings on it that I really enjoyed and made it easier. It gave it a good look. But but you got to have something in the can to color correct too.
true
So
Yeah.
enough.
that's what we're trying to get back to here.
Well, that's great because I love that you're coming back to because that's the thing, man. Like you're a very creative person. Like you think creatively,
Thanks.
and everything. And I think that's when you're like in your element, right? Like
Yeah.
when you're coming up with movies and you're trying to come up with, like you said, they gave you the idea for Zombie Croc. They told you like we need Zombie Croc, and you're like, let me see what I can do, and just put together a
Yeah, I mean
movie.
that's they didn't all they said was we want a movie called Zombie Croc. And
And they
well
changed the
originally
title too, because it became a Zombie Croc.
yeah, well, you know why they do that, right?
Right. Yeah, but tell the audience so people know.
Okay, they add like a number or a letter to stuff so it
First.
pops up first in if you're searching online for a movie to watch, it'll if it's got an A, it takes it to the front of the line. It'll be one of the first movies you come across. Or if it's got a number in the title, it'll be one of the first movies you come across. And so there you're more likely to click on it and buy it
Well,
because before you go through and scroll through the whole thing. I mean, if you wait down to get to the Z, if you wait to get to Zombie Croc, it's gonna be one of the last movies that you pull up. And
Hmm.
right.
so if you're just scrolling through stuff that's in alphabetical order, you're not gonna see it. I
Well,
always thought that was so corny, but it's actually very probably brilliant.
yeah. Well, I mean, and that's the other thing is like when I watch Tubi, it doesn't do everything alphabetically. It just gives me unless you
Oh well,
search for something. So like if you go on Tubi, it'll just give you a whole list of movies that they think that they tailor toward you and your
right.
taste. That's why Paul will find these crazy movies that Tubi will recommend because he watched a crazy movie that, is similar,
That's
or
funny.
whatever. Yeah.
They're
And
the
that's how
fun
they
Yeah.
ones.
do.
I like that. I like movies that take chances. Even if
Ex-
they fail, the fact that they've actually taken a chance and done something different, it, to me, is all the difference in
Well,
the world.
see, I tried to. I don't know. I don't like. I don't like dark horror movies per se. I mean, that might not sound. I like to watch some of them, but I don't like if I'm going to make one. I like ones that are fun, and I
Mhm.
don't want it to be like a depressing movie to watch.
Right.
And most of the ones that I end up that I you know kind of a lot of the movies that I kind of flock to that I really enjoy watching, I haven't really tried to make anything similar to it because I'm not trying to rip it off. I mean, but I don't necessarily make those kind of movies.
Right.
Everything we start making stuff, and then by the time we're in the middle of making it, it's like we're just trying to see how funny we can make it and get away with it.
I
But make
noticed in one of your interviews you said you didn't like the Saw movies. There's
oh
nothing
no,
really
I've
funny
never
about
liked those.
them.
Never liked those. Never liked the Hostel movies. Now, do I think Eli Roth is a talented filmmaker? Yes, and I think he's obviously knows what he's doing. But I just don't care for not he didn't do Saw, but he did the Hostel movies,
Hmm.
and I
James
just don't.
Wan did the Saw movies, and he also
Yeah,
did.
I'm not a fan of the first one actually was pretty good,
Mm,
but the rest of them I was kind of like, eh,
Yeah, I don't really like torture porn either. It just doesn't do
no,
much for
that
me.
was a fad basically.
well, I
I
mean, they're
think.
still going. It's still going. They're at
Yeah,
Saw
I don't
11.
I don't know what is it.
Saw 11.
Oh
It's
my
coming out
goodness.
this year. Yeah.
Well, some of the I'm modern horror is I'm not sure where it's gone to, and I'm not a big fan of most of it. Now I heard now I tell you what, the last good horror movie that I've seen. Oh, okay. Well, I take in the theater. The Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
that
good.
was good. That's why I'm kind of like, what did they do with Nosferatu that was any different than what they did with that? Because it's kind of like I already saw that one. I haven't
Yeah.
seen
Yeah,
Nosferatu, but I
it's
hear it's good.
it's good. I would check it out, but it is a bit long. So,
Yeah.
I,
did you
I
see
actually,
Long Legs? Because Long Legs was really good.
See, and I heard that was good, but I haven't seen that. I was waiting for it to come on something where I could just check it out. And everybody's talking about The Substance.
Yeah.
this Substance is
So
really good too. Um,
yeah.
but I told a friend of mine today because he asked me about Nosferatu, and I
Uh,
told him to wait till you get on video. I hate saying that. Sorry, Robert Eggers, but it is a little long,
right,
and it's such a wonderful movie that
right.
that I feel like if you have to go to pee or something, you don't want to miss it,
You want to be able to pause it.
Yeah, you want to be able to
But
pause it.
having said that, I'm telling you, man, you want to see it on the big screen because the best part about the film are the visuals and the mood that he's able to set using the visuals, and that's
Right,
where all of that really comes in because the story itself, I had a few problems with because it felt kind of railroaded because he's following the other film, so these characters don't really seem to have feel like they have choice in anything that they do, and it kind of bugs me. But that
right.
aside, it's visually, it's definitely worth it.
Okay. Well, I may have to make a trip.
I think you'll
Well,
like it.
I think yeah, we'll think you like it, and like it's a great movie. I'm not like dissing
Well,
on it
I know it's
whatsoever,
it's
but
gotten like tons of reviews, but you can't. I don't know what was it? There was something that came out recently. Everybody raved about. Oh, and I'm a big Godzilla fan, but everybody raved about Godzilla minus one, and I was like waiting for it to come on to watch it because I didn't make it to the theater to see it, and I kept waiting, and it finally came on. This was months back. It's been on for a while now, and when it finally came out, and I sat there and I watched it, and I was just so disappointed that it wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, there'll never be those Inishiro Honda Godzilla movies ever again. They're done and gone.
They
It,
were fun.
They were.
That's what I used to stay up. Man, I remember they used to show one like every Saturday night, and you'd have to
Hmm.
stay up till like 3 in the morning to watch it. But then they used to show some of them in like prime time. I remember Godzilla versus Megalon was one that they showed like at the 9 p.m. movie of the Friday night movie. Godzilla versus Megalon.
And Mothra with the creepy little tiny kids in their
Yeah,
little bitty shorts. Protect the egg! Protect the egg!
which one
yeah.
was the one we did, Paul? We did a really, really bad Godzilla movie or something.
Oh
It was
God,
like
I forget.
Godzilla Junior
Oh
or something.
yeah, the one with his son.
The
Oh
son
yeah.
of Godzilla
And
or
it's just a
whatever.
clip show, and it's him running around with this.
Oh yeah. They reused so much
It
footage
was
on the
awful.
It was awful. We
yeah.
reviewed that
But
and it
I'm
was
I'm a
just sitting
bad.
huge
here by myself because I got no friends.
Well, see, I grew up on the old. I don't know if y'all. Well, the Godzilla cartoon that was on Saturday mornings.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, Godzilla was it? They in Godzuki, the baby Godzilla that had little wings. He was like a dragon.
Right.
It was Godzuki. That was
Well,
his name.
it's funny because you guys are both a different generation than I am. It's okay, but
How
uh,
old are you, Jonathan?
I'm 43 now. So
Okay.
it's funny because
Millennial.
when I was growing up, I had, as a kid, I had Nickelodeon, right? And
Yeah.
Disney and stuff like that to watch, and ABC Family kind of stuff or
Yeah.
whatever.
Well,
And
see,
you guys,
I had that to watch with my kids, so I
right?
did watch a lot of
Exactly.
that too.
Well, see, there you go. But then, and then you and Paul as younger, had
How
it to a
Paul?
whole different thing.
How old are you,
Gen
Paul?
X baby.
All right.
That's
I
all
just
he's.
turned 50. I just turned 56.
There you go. Yeah, 50 something. Not gonna
Yeah,
say.
I
he doesn't
don't
like to
care,
say
man. It's
his
just a
age.
number.
I got my pride,
Just a
man.
number. It's just a number. Who
Uh, but
cares?
but anyway, you guys kind of are about the round about the same age,
Right.
and so it's one of those things where you guys probably grew up watching the same stuff, seeing the same
Yeah,
things that Paul
and I
did.
tell people that world is gone. When I
Oh,
grew up as a kid, I literally would get a gigantic bowl of cereal and I would sit in front of the TV and it would be like Bugs Bunny cartoons, Three
yep.
Stooges, then it would be Kung Fu Theater, and then it would be monster horror chiller movies, and
And you
all day
watched yeah until wrestling came on.
till wrestling came on. Yep.
Yeah, and then I was never my dad and my brother were big wrestling fans, so they would take over the TV because back then you only had like one TV that you could get. But
Three
man, I tell
channels.
you what, you're talking about the cereal. Here's what I would do. I'd get up. Remember? Do you remember I'd get up before the national anthem came on,
Hmm.
and the TV was still off the air.
I remember
I'd go
those.
get I'd go get a bunch of Matchbox cars, and I would take them and I would line them up like in a parking lot in front of the TV, like it was a drive-in,
That's funny.
and I would sit
Nice.
there and I would set up a whole drive-in, and I'd start watching cartoons.
Yeah, we should do that, Moody. We should have a drive-in review movie thing set up with little cars in front like that. That would be awesome.
That's cute.
Yeah,
I
I'd set
like
up
that.
all the Matchbox cars on the floor, and then they would be facing the screen, and the drive-in stuff would come on, and but
Hmm.
it was always the same cartoons every week. But I'd start it. I think it was I don't know. It might have been at 7. I don't think a TV station came back on till 7. But as soon as it was like it would be like "Brrr," with the color bars,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden it would click on right at 7. Man, it was like
And I would get the biggest bowl. It was supposed to be, I guess, for like, I don't know, making cakes or fruit or something. And I'd put the whole box in
that's
there
funny.
and I'd throw all my milk in there and I'd plant myself and I would just sit there and eat sugary cereal and watch all these movies and
That's great.
cartoons. It was great.
Um,
I don't think I was allowed to take food in the living room at the time. I had to wait till they got up to do the food,
Mm.
well,
I had all the cars out there. And my dad
you,
probably would walk in there and step on them, like stepping on Lego.
so yeah, well, I didn't even have my first drive-in. I don't know when your guys first drive. Well, actually, I know Paul's one of
Yeah.
Paul's things. We talked
Dawn of
about
the
that,
Dead.
but mine sadly was when I was out in L.A. Well, not sadly, because I mean, at least
Oh,
I got to go. But when I was
yeah.
out in L.A., my roommate at the time, Lila, had said, "Hey, me and my boyfriend are going to go see a drive-in movie. Do you want to come?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've never been to a drive-in. That's awesome."
Wow.
So we
So you,
set up and we got to see two movies in the drive-in. It was nice.
well,
Rob,
my first, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to tell you my experience. I was like 10 years old. My brother, who is, 8 years older than me, dragged me along, and I got to see back to back, because back then it was, they would do regular movies, and then after midnight they would do like X-rated movies. So I got to see Night of the Living Dead and Behind the Green Door back to back, and I to this day I can't tell you which one I was more frightened of.
Well, my first drive-in experience is we got my dad to take us to it was when Day of the Dead came out, and they did a screening of Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead.
Nice.
Nice.
And it was actually, I think I had seen Dawn of the Dead already, but I mean, to see it on and the drive-in now, it's a big flea market. They don't even have it anymore.
Yeah.
But but yeah, we went and saw, and my dad, we had to take a portable radio with us because he didn't want to leave the car, because back then you had to listen to it through your AM radio.
Yep.
They didn't put you didn't have a speaker or anything. So he didn't want to turn the key on, he was worried about running the battery down on the car. So we had to take a little portable radio and listen to it over the
Hmm.
portable radio. And yeah, but I remember it was Dawn of the Dead and then Day of the Dead. And then one of the we didn't go a whole lot. And then I do remember this had to have been in the late 80s. They did a all night zombie marathon at the same drive-in,
Nice.
and I think it was like four cars in there. And I remember they screened I think they screened Zombie and Return of the Living Dead and I think it was Day of the Dead again. And I remember I was laying on the hood of my car watching it because it wasn't
Nice.
nobody. I went by myself because nobody else wanted to go. All my other friends were out partying and stuff. I left where they were and left them all in Richmond at a teen night club, and I went down and watched zombie movies all night.
See,
Nice.
that was the best thing back then, is you could watch 4, 5, 6 movies, and
Yeah,
just
it was an all
eat
night thing. It was
snacks.
a marathon.
Yeah.
So I wanted to, real quick, I wanted to like remind you of a time, like I'm sure you remember, but do you remember Horror Realm, going to Horror Realm and being, in there together? Like we all went up, you,
Yeah,
me,
yeah, in Pennsylvania.
yeah, in Pennsylvania. And
Yeah,
then right after, when we were going home, we actually stopped by the Dawn of the
yeah,
Dead
yeah.
mall,
No,
and
they
everything.
brought that back, didn't they?
I don't know. Oh, Horror
I
Realm?
think they
I don't,
brought this.
I think
No,
they
no,
did.
no. The zombie store.
The
I think they brought it back
the
because I know they
mall?
shut
I'm
it
not
down.
sure.
And
I
I wish I had the pictures because I took pictures. Remember all the handprints on the wall?
mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I took pictures of a bunch of stuff in there. But I don't I think they shut it down for a while, and then I think it's back. I do believe somebody's reopened it.
I'm
At
kind of
least I
sad I never took pictures myself. Like I wish I had.
had
I
some, but
think
I don't know where they are. I don't know. That was multiple phones ago.
I think I wasn't like I wasn't in a good mood. I didn't want to go home or something, I wanted
Yeah,
out there
yeah,
and party. But it was a fun time. Like now I'm like, dang, I think if I went up now, I think I'd appreciate it a lot more and stuff.
yeah.
It'd be like, I'm so happy being here because like back then, Dawn of the Dead was not one of my favorite movies. Now
It's my
now it's more so,
my
Well,
favorite zombie movie by far.
yeah.
Dawn of the
So
Dead.
yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
So we're actually thinking of going up to Pittsburgh this year for Gross
Oh, okay.
Fest. And if we do, hopefully we'll look up and see if that because I think it was in Pittsburgh, you know.
Yeah. See, well, yeah, it was. Yeah. With Tim Gross is. I've known Tim Gross since the Backwoods days. He actually reviewed Backwoods.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
yeah, I've never been to the festival. I remember when he first started it, but I mean, I haven't talked to him in a long time. But I know that I used to communicate with him quite a bit because I was trying to get him to come down and be in something at one point, and he just it was just too long of a drive because he's got a family and everything. Well, they're
Mm.
probably all adults now. Wow,
It's
getting
like
old.
well, it's like a 7-hour drive, I think, or something to go
Yeah,
up to Pittsburgh.
yeah.
So,
I don't have a. Yeah, I have to meet her where I go because I have to make sure I can't just depend on my truck all the time to get me where I
Mm.
need to go. So
yeah,
long
we're
distance
probably
stuff,
renting a car because like
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
it's better. It's
Oh
cheaper
yeah,
to
to go
rent a
up there,
car than go up and
have a
possibly break
breakdown.
down. Yeah, possibly
Yep.
break down while we're up there. So we
Yeah.
just, you know,
Well, I
it's
know we're planning on doing what's Mad Monster Party in February next month.
nice.
So
And that's in North Carolina, or
yeah,
yeah, so it's not too far away.
I was hoping to have we were hoping to have something filmed by then to promote a little more, but I have a broken ankle right now. So I broke my
Oh shit.
ankle in mid-December, and I didn't know it was broken, and I walked around on it for 2 weeks, and I ended up like I got to go to patient first, and I went to patient first on Christmas Eve, and he was like, and he's like he flat out the doctor came in and with the X-rays, and he goes, "Are you like smoking weed or do you use like drugs or something?" And I was like, "No," and not that I care if anybody smokes weed, but that's I don't that's he was like, "Well, how are you even walking right now?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I think I've been walking around for 2 weeks."
It's
And
funny how we don't realize that
I
sometimes,
thought I had like a sprained ankle, and I mean, but I like cracked my ankle off like 2 inches up into the whole bottom part of the
Oh.
bigger the smaller bone in my ankle, or the bigger bone on the outer side of my right ankle. It's like an inch and a half up. It's just completely sheared off.
Mm.
hmm
Yeah, all slipping in a shower.
Ah, you got to be
Yeah.
careful these days. We're
Oh, I have like real flat feet. And
Mm.
I've learned if I go to a hotel, I always lay a towel down in the shower. And I got in, I was, I did a bunch of Santa Claus jobs over Christmas. I trimmed my beard up now, but,
I saw
I mean,
that.
I do for this one company. And, I mean, they're real cool. I mean, I made decent money going up and playing Santa Claus. And, I went up to Maryland and they let me stay in their guest room. The people that own the company, they were like, "Yeah, you can stay in our guest room. You don't have to pay for a hotel." So I'm like, "Okay." So I go and I'm in there taking a shower, and it's like they didn't have any of the little grippy things on the bottom. And as soon as the soap got in there, zip, I went straight down on my back, and I guess I jammed my foot into the front of the tub,
Ooh.
and it broke my ankle on
Yeah.
two sides. And like I said, broke it off the bone, the whole bone. But
Mm.
Ah,
I went back to the doctor the other day. I've got a boot on right now. I've been walking around in a boot, and they were like, he's like, well, it's not going to heal perfect because it's not attached in the right place. But he said it is healing. I was like, that's because I got that Wolverine mutant healing factor. 'Cause I can't afford surgery.
So do you have the suit?
Do what? Oh no, I don't. I do have the claws though.
I was gonna say because if you've
Actually,
got the
cosplayed
Santa,
Wolverine one time,
if
huh?
you got the
oh
Santa
no,
suit, you could totally do a killer Santa movie.
well, no,
No, I can't mess my Santa suit up. I need that for next year.
yeah,
I make
uh,
decent money doing Santa.
yeah. How did that how did that happen? Did somebody just contact you, or did you
I,
contact
I,
somebody
I
else?
started doing there's a company and they're based out of Northern Virginia or Maryland. Um and I years back it was when I was doing Jack Sparrow.
Mm-hmm.
I looked online looking for places that wanted to hire Jack Sparrow, and they had a Jack Sparrow on their website. It's called Carbone Entertainment. It's like, and they're a great company to work with. And if you need to hire anybody, call them. But now there and I used to do Jack Sparrow for them at parties and stuff. They would hire me because I submitted the pictures because I mean I used to do Jack Sparrow all the time. I was a little thinner and a little younger, and then so I'm on their website actually still as Jack Sparrow, but people don't. I mean, I've actually done a couple parties and stuff as Jack Sparrow for them, but I started once my beard went white and I started growing a beard, I was like, and truthfully, I found a Santa suit at a Goodwill. It was like
Uh-huh.
brand new. I
Nice.
bought it for like $20. And then well, but I took it and modified it. I put like extra fur on it and everything. Here's the thing. What kind of fur is that on Santa's suit? It's got to be like polar bear or something. Isn't that awful to think of?
No,
Or
I
I'm
never
not
bunnies or
thought
sure.
about
something.
that. But no, I mean, I took the suit that I had. It was kind of a plain Santa suit, and I took it and added fur to the shoulders and trimmed it out in fur and everything, and tweaked it and made it look better. And I mean, it's it gets me by. I'm thinking about looking for a new one before next year, but we'll
If
see.
we
This
if
year,
Oh, I was gonna say if we do Santa Claus conquers conquers Venus,
uh,
or whatever,
yeah.
we'll contact you about that.
Roller claws.
I don't want to mess my suit up though. But
We'll get you a new suit. How about that?
uh,
We'll get you one specifically for you.
I got you.
Because
Yeah,
they're
we'll
not
get you a
that
stunt
expensive.
suit.
Yeah, you can wreck that suit up.
Yeah, but so I finished out the whole Santa season this year limping around. I told all the kids that a reindeer had stepped on my foot because
Oh,
but
I
yeah,
mean,
I had a broken ankle the whole time, didn't know it.
as far as I know, there's plenty of slasher Santas, but has there ever been a cannibal Santa?
yes. There's Cannibal Claus.
Ugh.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it does exist, but I'm
Well,
sure there'll be other ones.
I always wanted to do like a zombie short, like a post-apocalyptic zombie movie, just a short where this somebody goes out like on it'd be like it's like if The Walking Dead did a Christmas episode. And you know how old sitcoms and old TV shows used to always have a Christmas episode?
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, you imagine one of the characters heads out to try to find toys for their kids that they're in their encampment and ends up having to fight their way through some zombies and gets to a store and ends up getting the toys and he ends up somehow ended up dressing all in red and looking like Santa Claus on the way back and he ends up fighting his way back through zombies and he gets back and he puts the toys out under the tree at the encampment and he's dressed up like Santa but he's covered in blood and he's I don't know, I always thought that would have been a cool short.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But you have it, but
If the
it would have
zombie
to be.
apocalypse is going to happen, it might happen during Christmas.
Yeah, well, we'll see if one does happen, we'll end up with a fast one, fast zombies, and we would never survive it. So, screw
I,
fast zombies.
I don't know though. I mean, because technically, George Romero got it right. If in the original Night of the Living Dead, if the zombies did come back to life, they would not be running and doing everything. They'd be
No, oh,
walking
I don't like
very
fast
slow.
zombies.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
the
I don't like
fast
fast
zombies
zombies.
either. That's
I
a
don't. I
bummer.
don't
Nobody,
either.
you'd never. I mean, okay, even though it's not a zombie movie, technically, 28 Days Later, I like that one, but that was
Well,
because
it
they
is a
were
zombie
infected.
movie.
Well, they were infected people.
Right.
They were still alive, but yeah, because
Yeah.
they starved to death when they didn't eat, they just died. But I mean, I've always loved that movie. I always, and one of the best things I liked about it back then was that they shot it on video.
Oh
It
yeah.
was one of the first feature length movies that they actually shot on video, and it was like, wow, it made me feel like we could do this.
Well, do you know what's going to make you even feel like that even more? The new
Everything's shot
one?
on video now.
No, the new one, the new 28 years later that's
Yeah,
coming out was shot on an iPhone Pro 16,
no, are you
or what, or
serious?
15 or 15 or something. So yeah, so they shot
That's
it on
crazy.
this
I didn't know
phone,
that.
this type of phone, and just shot, instead of, whatever, and it's probably going to have a little bit of a video, ish kind of vibe or whatever, which will be
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love Danny Boyle. I think he is,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
an
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
exceptional
I just like the
director.
fact that he's bringing back. I think he brought back most of the characters that survived the first one.
And he brought back
Uh,
the writer who did Civil War, which was amazing.
yeah, I watched that. It was not an enjoyable movie to watch, but it was very well made.
Well, it's not.
Um,
It's a very dark movie, and
yeah,
it's
yeah, it doesn't
it's
make you feel good. It's not a feel good movie.
no, it's
Needed more zombies.
well, no. Have you seen
Yeah, well,
Civil
didn't
War
it? Yeah.
yet?
What's
Paul.
that?
No, not yet. But I was going to say, remember we did cover midget zombie apocalypse on our show. That was a fun one.
That's
No, it
funny.
was Midget Zombie Takeover,
Oh yeah.
and which had no midgets, and had no zombies, and had no
Well, we
takeover.
think there might have been one.
One midget.
Yeah.
There was not any zombies. I don't think. I don't know. They didn't feel like
Right.
zombies. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was a bad movie,
They were
but
kids
Yeah.
and they were adults on their knees.
yeah, pretty
Wow.
much.
Oh, like Dorf, like a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Tim Conway and Dorf. I remember that stuff.
But
Anyway,
well, anyway, you've got new projects that are the new project that's
yeah,
you're working on.
yeah. The main one we're working on. Good segue, Jonathan. Was Twisted Tales of Terror from Hell.
Nice.
And originally it was going to be like Twisted Hillbilly Tales. I was trying to come up with like some redneckish kind of title. And finally it just Twisted Tales of Terror from Hell kind of clicked with me. And I did the logo for it and I was like, "Yep, that's the name of it." And yeah, it's an anthology. It's actually uh and I'll call Flesh of the Living the sort of an anthology. If you remember, well, I don't.
Mhm.
You weren't. I know. I don't think I knew you then, but
I don't.
that
Yeah,
one
I
was
think
like a
I was like right before
yeah.
I
It was a whole
started
bunch
doing.
of like stories, zombie apocalypse type stories thrown together and into one movie. And yeah, then there's a lot of it just some of it was. I mean, I mean, it's actually Worldwide Multimedia has it's out available. People can see it, but yeah, I mean, it was a fun. David Witt's in it. He plays a news reporter that slowly turns into a zombie on screen, like between news breaks. It does special reports and stuff.
Nice.
And it was it was a whole bunch of different little storylines that were combined together. Um, it was fun to make. I mean, but like I said, there's no consistent story in it. Uh, but then yeah, this one is an anthology kind of a similar to Creep Show. It's gonna have a storyteller. And I think you've seen the tentatively it's not quite finished yet, but the poster that I was working on. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's gonna have three stories. And then not necessarily a wraparound story as much as just a storyteller, but it's the first one is going to be called Terror of Ham Hock. And basically it's a slasher movie. Uh, but I'm, not gonna say too much about it yet. But and then the second one is gonna be called Kill the Witch. And that was gonna be more of a period piece set in the Puritan Pilgrim times.
Nice.
And
Nice.
then the third one is gonna be called Cockosaurus Rex. And yeah, and I mean I'm working on the effects for all of it right now because I do all my own stuff, and I'm trying to get the costumes straight and they're basically all three of them basically are monster stories or monster horror stories. But they're all going to be like less than 30 minutes long because I know I've been ostracized in the past for having too long of a run times on my stuff because people walk around in the woods too much. So I'm gonna try to cut that and limit that. But Zombie Isle is way too long.
It might be, but like, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's too long. I remember we watched it. I don't know if it was a premiere or anything, but it was at that Halloween fest that
I remember that. Yeah,
Matt Burns was doing, and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I remember like being in that audience, like watching it on the they had a little theater there, and they had like
yeah,
a screening of it, and just watching it with everybody because a bunch of the people from there from Zombie Isle actually came out to that place and hung out and everything. You had your own table. I had my own table. So it was
yeah,
such
yeah.
a
We did
fun
have a
little
table.
yeah, it was such a fun little thing.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different. I mean, it was a long drive to get there. But
it was like 3 hours for me. So
yeah, it was
I
something
was
like that for me too.
I,
But
I was happy. I hate to say it, but it was like 4 o'clock, and I was like, I'm out because I gotta get home by. I wanted to be home by 7, and
yeah,
like be able to relax, the
yeah,
rest
and
of the
that's the
time.
worst.
Because
That's the worst is when the convention's over. It's like having to go back home and
Well,
get
that's
yeah,
back
one of
to
the other
regular life.
good things about, talking to you and knowing you. I mean, is the fact that, we're all local Virginia filmmakers and you're really not
Right.
that far away, which is
No.
nice.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
I mean, like I said, well, Jonathan, you've never been to the newer place I've been filming at because
mm,
I got a park that's about 10 minutes from my house. That's
I think Zombie Isle was the last project that we
it
participated
it was
in
okay.
together.
It was where, all right, if you remember the scene at the beginning when Kyle's character meets Professor Foster at the side of the water.
Mm-hmm.
It's where we shot that.
Oh,
And I've been
nice.
filming. We've been trying to work on filming. Well, a couple of stuff that I've. Well, it's where we filmed our 48-hour uh horror thing that we did. Did you
Oh,
ever see that?
I don't know what was it called.
Write it down. Hillbilly Science and the Death of Cha Cha Rodriguez.
No, did not see that. No.
Yeah, it was our 48-hour horror film festival entry a few years back. We won they made up an awards. They made up a couple of awards for us. Because I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with a lot of this how they judge some of that stuff, but they did make up some. They gave us best practical effects because we've
Nice.
got gore effects in it, and
Got to
most
excuse me
likely,
for a second. I'll be back.
yeah, and most likely to become a cult classic.
Nice. You know
So
who you know who we saw at Richmond, the Virginia Production Alliance thing?
who?
That we saw Jerry Long.
Jerry Long? Yeah, I
Yes.
haven't talked to Jerry in a while. Jer-
He's been busy. I think is he SAG or is he not SAG?
no, I don't think Jerry is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was such a oh man, he was a delight to
I
chat with.
think he's having some kind of medical issue he's dealing with right now that
Well, I don't know.
thinking about.
I saw him I want to say it was right before the holidays. So it was
Okay.
right before
I might
Christmas.
be off base. I know I'd seen something that he was having
Yeah,
some kind
maybe
of
it's a new
procedure
thing.
done.
I don't know.
Yeah, he
But
was having some kind of procedure or something done, but it might have been just you know, just a normal something. I don't know. I
it
don't know what it's.
was such a cool thing to see him because we took a picture together and
Yeah, that's
it
cool.
was neat to be a part because we had never had any scenes together. I don't think I think
But
that
yeah, it's funny because looking back on some of the stuff that we've done, there's certain people that actually were never actually together on set, and there are
right.
certain things that I actually filmed that they've never, nobody, people have never met each other.
Right. But
Um,
they know each
but
other because they've worked on the same movie,
yeah,
and everything.
I need to send you that link for the. It's like I said, it's not riff tracks because they didn't do it. Um, Tony sent it to me. I've got it in my email or my
Well,
text.
eh,
I'll send it to you. It's
was
funny. I
Jerry
mean, like I
playing the
said,
same sheriff, by the way? Was he like his all his credits were sheriff. So I don't
he's
know if it's the same one.
he's usually played a sheriff in just about most of my
I know,
movies.
but is it the same guy? Is it all
Oh,
set
I
in the
don't.
same universe? Is this your,
He, well,
Marvel?
he played the sheriff in. He was actually the sheriff in Curse of Zombie Lake,
Yeah, I know.
but it
Well,
was a
because
different sheriff because he died at the end.
okay,
Yeah. Well, he
it's a
usually
sheriff
dies
from a
at the
different
end, though.
universe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He just comes across as having that sheriffy looking look.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, we were gonna work with him. He does not do TikToks apparently. That was his thing.
oh, okay.
So, which I agree. Like some people, understandably, don't want to do that.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
that's
know.
just
I
not
don't
fair.
do TikToks either, but it's not because I'm boycotting it or anything. I don't know. I don't put stuff out like that, you know.
I noticed you got to work with Brittany Scalf in Zombie Croc. We like
Oh
her.
yeah. Yeah, she was really good. She's very very pretty girl on and I think it really comes through on Zombie Croc because I mean I thought she was gorgeous in that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She did a really good job. But she actually her character she played was she's just kind of a bimbo-ish secretary. So she did a
Yeah.
good job at just
And
at
she
Well,
did
being
improv for that too, huh?
she well, I mean, yeah, I gave her the lines. I mean, if that's improv, I mean nobody had a script to read. But yeah,
That's
that's what it
cool.
is. Well, that's a funny thing too. I was sitting here, like I said, I was watching Alien Swamp Beast, and I kept seeing all these people pop up that were in Zombie Croc and Ken Peebles and in Zombie Isle, because he was in Zombie Isle, and then I forgot that he was in Alien Swamp Beast too. It's just sort of a he's a there's a bank robbery and they're interviewing people outside the bank, and I never show the bank, so but they're he's sitting there being interviewed. And I just was like, dang, everybody that I put in all my movies were in this movie.
yeah,
Alyssa,
I love that. Like I love like you
well,
have a group of people, like you
yeah,
know,
I hope they'll, I've got to get them back together because like I said, I've been on a hiatus for a little while. Just some issues going on that I had to take care of and couldn't. Well, and a lot of it is COVID derailed a whole lot of stuff, and then
Oh sure.
the crappy economy that we've had. It's like, man, it's like where do you come up with money to do anything when you're paying $8 for a thing of eggs? It's like,
yeah.
wow.
And I just saw like the gas prices are just
Well,
exorbitant when I went to
it,
go get
are they gone?
gas.
Are they back down now? They were going down a little bit, but I don't know
Uh,
whether they're going back up or not.
They were like, I think it was like the last I saw was like 390 or something. It was like
Oh my
Are you
ridiculous.
God.
serious?
Yeah,
Not
where I'm in
not by me.
Worcester.
I just paid 274 for mine.
Oh shit, mine was
Man, we were headed the
three
right direction.
something.
I
You
don't.
know.
Yeah,
Williamsburg is always more expensive.
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
that's
see,
it.
I've been like I said since I broke my ankle, I'm not doing a whole lot of driving. Because I got a which I want to use it in a movie, but I've got my main vehicle is a '87 Ford F-150, and it's not real easy to maneuver it around places when you got a busted ankle. So I've been like borrowing my brother's car and using his when I need to go somewhere because he's got a small car and it's just a whole lot easier to maneuver it
Hmm.
because
Well,
but my ankle's healing. I mean they're it'll be that kind of because we actually wanted to start filming before now, but it just this kind of turned into a bigger thing than what I thought it was going to be.
well, if you get a chance, you should come visit us down at Fort Monroe where we have our little studio.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I get you haven't been out there yet, have you?
No, where is that?
Fort Monroe is up at the very end of Hampton before you go over the bridge to Virginia Beach.
Okay, y'all have a studio there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a studio. We do our in like we have was it our indie film cafe studio stuff like setup
Yeah.
and everything, and then we also do that's where our Slick Flick Productions
Okay.
headquarters is. You
And
know.
I do like photography there because I have a background set up. I have a big giant green screen too. If we ever wanted to, I want to make
Oh,
an
that's
all
cool.
green screen movie someday. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I've considered doing that, thinking about doing stuff like that, and then I think of Sky Captain of Tomorrow.
Oh yeah,
But I mean, you know who did it? Is Sin City did it right
Yeah.
yeah.
with that. So I mean, it's possible to do.
Well, I
It's
mean,
just
if we did it, it would be like more like Sky Captain, where it would be like more cheesy
Silly and
stuff,
fun.
silly
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
So it
that's
doesn't
what we
have to be all
like.
that serious, but
I
but
want vampire bananas attacking people and just goofy shit.
vampire bananas. That's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're like I said, I'm working on effects and I'm gonna start casting pretty soon for uh the first story. I'm just gonna, do them, one at a time and get the Terror of Ham Hock is gonna be the first one that we're working on. So, and I've already got the killer is already made and I've just got it's a slasher movie. It's just gonna be a fun slasher movie. And I
Yeah.
think I posted some stuff on my Facebook. Well, I finally made an American Eyesore Films Facebook page again, and
Nice.
I've been posting.
Nice.
Yeah, if you go to my Facebook page, it's attached to it. It doesn't get a whole lot of traffic because I guess I'm not sure how to promote it properly. But
Well,
if
I mean, it's a thing you got to learn how to do, really. Like,
yeah,
the more you do it, the more I'm
but
still very bad at. We have a social media guy and we don't use them because a lot of times I'm like, I can do this, like if I,
You
yeah,
gotta let that go, man.
I can't because I have to give him the
Well,
stuff in order for him to do it. So I'm like, why am
right,
I going to give him the things and then not just put it up myself? Like, why
right.
do that
Well,
extra,
if you go look at if you go look on my Facebook page and you look at the American Eyesore films, well, I mean you should be able just to look it up. And we may be changing the name to it may be becoming I've already done a logo, but I haven't announced this yet. But it may be becoming American Eyesore Studios because we're going to try to
nice.
do
Nice.
some we're going to try to do some extra stuff, some photography stuff and all that too. So I just trying to get into see I've got to, because I mean I'm retired and I'm working part-time somewhere that I not gonna say where, but um I have like free days. So I'm trying to focus on working on uh creative stuff instead of, working a minimum wage job. Uh that makes you, by by the end of the day you feel so wore out that it's like, man, it's like I only made this much money today because I mean, I don't know, people they don't want to, nobody wants to pay you. I mean, I've got something that I'm working on that pays pretty good will help, tide me over for what I need it for because but I gotta my health insurance is, that's what you end up working extra to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so right now I'm kind of like I've got like quite a few free days a week, so I'm trying to focus on American Eyesore stuff again.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm trying to, I think we're going to turn it to American Eyesore Studios.
Cool.
Just
Excellent.
just to refresh it and open up doing a few more things. Because I mean, I'd be willing to do makeup effects for somebody through American Eyesore if somebody needed some. I mean, if it was something in particular, because I mean, or a costume or something like that. So I was like, well, if I turn it into studios, then it kind of opens it up for doing stuff for other people if somebody wants to commission something or stuff like that.
We
Yeah,
definitely keep
definitely.
that in mind because we could use some of that maybe.
Yeah, some of the special effects and stuff, definitely. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Yeah, well, Jonathan knows what I do. I've got. I'm sitting here. I'm not gonna look at them, but I've got like all the characters that I'm working on for the new one up on the fireplace mantle. Just had to get them out of the way. But yeah, I mean, there's gonna be at least three creatures in the movie, and you know, it's like I said, it's kind of old school creep show kind of vibe to it with very very tales from the crypt, but not
Hmm.
not trying to rip off Tales from the Crypt, but it's got
I mean,
well, it's actually
hey,
got four creatures because the storyteller character is well, you've seen you saw the picture, you saw the picture.
hmm, yeah,
That's the storyteller character. That's pretty much what he looks like.
cool.
So yeah,
I'm
I think
excited,
Tony.
man. I think it's great to see you back. Doing the
I'm
stuff you
glad to
love.
be doing stuff again. I'm like I said, it's been too long. I've gotten out of practice, and it's like, man, I want to get back on uh back on a set doing something again because
Hmm.
I mean, we had so much fun doing stuff, and then I just need to get that feeling again of what it was like screening stuff in front of an audience because it was never anything as much fun as like when we would go to scares and all that and screen
Hmm.
stuff in front of a big audience, or we didn't have a big audience, but we had an audience, and it was enjoyable watching people watch your movie and
Uh-huh.
react to it, and they would laugh
Yeah,
at the right moment. They
it's
would,
a
I
shame that kind of all went away.
I
very much so. I say that quite frequently.
I remember like we screened Scary Story Slumber Party at Scares, right?
Right.
And I this my mom just passed away in August and
Oh, I'm sorry.
uh I mean it sucks, but it's
Yeah, no, Jonathan, both my parents passed away 9 days apart in March of the year before last.
That
So
sucks.
yeah, it was. It'll be 2 years in
That's
March.
rough.
Well, it'll be 2 years, and they were both pretty sick, and my dad was actually doing better, but then my mom had to come home from the facility she was at, and she passed away a week after she came home, and my dad couldn't deal with it, and he just took a turn for the worse, and he did. Yeah, but anyway, I'm not trying to not
Well, and
trying to upscale your
oh
mom
well,
dying. I'm sorry about that. I
it's
didn't know your
okay.
mom had didn't know your
Well,
mom had passed away.
yeah, I don't. I mean, it sucks, and
Yeah,
she's a
yeah, yeah.
big supporter of my film. She like what I was gonna say. She came to the screening with my dad, right?
Wow.
And but the funniest thing, I'll tell this. I don't care. I'll
Yeah.
tell this online. She was like, where she got there to the hotel, right? And it was like a little bit at night, like 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, whatever it was. And she was like, I gotta go to the bar first before I watch your movie.
That's
Like,
funny.
I was like, I don't mind. Go,
No.
get a drink, and then she comes
Yeah,
back, she sits down, she watched the movie, and her response was, it was so weird seeing our house in your movie. Like that was it.
that's right.
She didn't say anything about like the movie itself or
Yeah,
whatever. She was just like, it was weird to see our house in your movie.
that's
And I
funny.
thought that
Yeah,
was the
well, you
best
know what?
review ever.
Um, that's cool. My mom was the same way. She was very supportive because I filmed a bunch of stuff here. Like I said, I moved in with them to take care of them when they were both sick because they were both at home on hospice. So I ended up moving in, and I ended up staying. But the room I'm in right now, which I'm working on, it's hard moving a full house of stuff into another full house of stuff. But this was the room we filmed the whole lab scene in Zombie Isle
Oh
with
wow.
the where we had the remember we had the swastika flag hanging up and all that in the lab scene because
Mm-hmm.
the doctor was a Nazi. Oh, they and you know what's funny in that video? I'm gonna send you the link as soon as I find it. I got to figure out where it is. They I guess they couldn't they blurred that out of every clip that they showed. Well, they showed the whole movie and talked about it while they were while it was on, but they blurred all the whole swastika out, and it's like, well, he was a Nazi. I mean, he was a Nazi doctor. I don't know, but that was a different
Weird.
era when we made that.
Was this for like streaming or is this like the
It's on no, it's
distribution?
on YouTube.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
because I think there are certain things they have to blur out, like on
Oh yeah, no,
YouTube.
I didn't care. It's just they put some logo over top of it
Ridiculous.
or something. It was just funny. I was just unusual that they did it. But yeah, they probably just it was easier to do that than it was to. But yeah, well, and I ought to find that link of the guy that reviewed Zombie Croc that just
Mm-hmm.
talked shit about it for 30 minutes, and
Was
he
it
called
Zombie Croc or Zombie Isle?
he no Zombie Isle was the one that they did the riff tracks like thing
Yeah.
on. Zombie Croc was a review the guy did,
Okay.
and
Yeah, that's
oh
right. You
yeah,
said 30-minute review of him just.
he screamed about it being a racist movie because I had a black voodoo priest.
Wait a minute. What? Isn't that not racist?
I mean, how is that racist?
No.
I
It's
mean, that's generally where voodoo comes from, is
I know.
Haiti, and
Yeah.
yeah, he's sitting there talking
Haitians
about
are for the most part black.
Okay. So we reviewed. Well, Paul unfortunately was not a part of this, but we reviewed Zombie Cop, which was and I reviewed it
I've
with
seen it.
two people who, I should have known they wouldn't have liked the movie anyway. I forgot how sort
right,
of bad it was, but. In the movie, they have a black guy doing the voodoo stuff, but it's
right.
but the voodoo stuff is very like sort of cartoony voodoo
One
like
Well,
dimensional.
so yeah,
lingo stuff like ashagada, all this stuff that's just
right.
so fake and so but it's so racially wrong in a way. And I don't think
Well,
Zombie Croc was like that. I don't.
I mean, it was Ken Peoples played the role. I mean, he didn't
I
mind
love
playing it.
Ken. I love Ken.
Yeah, he
He
didn't
got
mind
to he
playing
got
it.
to kill me in Zombie Isle.
That's true.
Yeah.
And
That's how I met him.
well, I'll tell you, they loved Ken Peoples. the most in Zombie Isle. The guys that did that riff track kind of thing. Oh, they thought he was the best thing in the whole movie. I mean, just because
That's
he was, I guess, because he was creepy looking.
he
But
was.
they
I
were,
mean,
you know,
he did a good job with
they did.
the zombie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, everybody did a good job on that movie,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, Tony and I have talked about that occasionally. Is how much fun we all had filming that movie. He said everybody that was there was having a good time,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it got, you know, that's why it just kind of came together so well
Nice.
because everybody was just enjoying themselves. I think everybody was. Everybody, maybe one person didn't show back up. She kind of bailed out on us. So that's
I'll
the
say
one.
this. I'll say this. You know, I want to. I kind of want to put this on the record. So, in 2010, I was in a really, really low point in my life when I was shooting some of my short films, and I was
Yeah,
just not happy. There was a lot of budget going into things that I felt like didn't need, shouldn't have been being spent. You know, I mean,
yeah,
$3,000 for a short film should not have been that way. You know, in
yeah.
my opinion. And so
That's what we spent on Zombie Isle.
right for a feature, and so I was really like I was sort of like frustrated, and there was a
Right,
lot of anger, and I went to a horror convention. I was almost going to give up like the film world, you know, like I was going to quit directing and producing because I just was I was upset, like, you know, and all that
yeah,
stuff. And then I come back to Virginia and I get a call or a message or whatever from you saying, hey, do you want to come out for Nightmare Bunny Man Bridge? And I was like, okay, you know, it's acting. I don't have to worry about
right,
producing anything or, you know, whatever. And I get on set. I meet Danae for the first time, even though I've been friends with her for a long time
right.
before then. And then we worked together. We had such a great time, the great chemistry between everybody. Jim Jackman came out. I had a fucking fantastic, fucking major
Right.
asshole from
Yeah.
Spaceballs. Like, you know, such a great, you know, such a great team of people. And then like I start realizing like it's the people that you surround yourself with, that if you have people who are bringing you down and are killing your vibe, you need to get rid of them, cut them out like a cancer. And we
Yeah.
have now started doing that. If somebody is, you know, killing the vibe of our projects or something, you know,
And we've had a
and
couple of
and
them.
we've had a couple,
Yeah. Well,
we won't work with them again, you know.
yeah. Well, and part of that is, you know, being in control of your, you know, that's one thing. I know it's not easy to do, but when you got to depend on other people to do stuff, do you other than acting, I don't really depend on anybody to do anything too much. Well,
Hmm.
music, I can't do music.
So you
I
get Victor to do the music,
yeah,
which
he's
he's
been
great
doing,
at.
yeah, yeah, and he's been and he's already expressed interest in being involved in this,
Nice.
so that's cool too.
You know,
But
someday we're going to have to go up there and we're going to have to get John Johnson and Charles Cullen to come on over and we should do like a Virginia Filmmakers Symposium. I think that'd be fun.
well, it would be, you know, and my thing is that I've kind of played around with, I actually and I'm not bad mouthing anybody, but I've talked to the film office people a long time ago about, you know, getting involved in that, and they were not very helpful on anything
Hmm.
because they were basically, well, there's no way you're going to be able to find places to film that where they're going to let you do it for free. And I was
Well,
like, yeah, there are.
there are
So,
plenty of
I mean, you know,
places.
I just didn't agree. I didn't agree with what they were saying, and so I kind of just gave up on being involved in that. I was like, yeah, I don't need them. I can, you know, screw them if they don't want to. If they don't want to support a Virginia filmmaker that has made how many, like six, seven features?
Well, the Virginia Production
Six of them.
Alliance, the VPA, they're very cool. Like we went to where I was telling earlier that I saw Jerry Long at this
Right.
event and everything, and it was for the VPA. And the VPA, even if you're not a member, they treat you like you're a member. They
Well,
like
that's
are
cool.
very sweet to you and
Yeah.
will talk to you
They were
and
nice.
will, you know, yeah, they're awesome.
And I understand what the others are saying because that's pretty much. Yeah, because they were like, well, you know, well, what's your budget? Because it was something I was gonna try to shoot. It was one on we already shot and finished, and they were like, well, what's your budget? And I was like, well, I really don't have a budget, and they don't quite understand. it was the film office is who I was talking to.
Yeah.
They couldn't quite understand that, like, well, we're gonna make a movie. We don't really have a budget, but we're gonna make it anyway. It's like,
Right.
it's
Well,
because all this one's gonna be self-funded. I'm funding it myself. But I
I
mean, when
mean,
you
I
do
understand
everything
that.
and you learn how to do everything yourself, you don't need somebody else's money. And that's where I'm trying to, not that I've turned my back on worldwide multimedia, but I kind of want to just finally do one that I have control over right now.
Hmm.
Sure.
Do your
So
own
he
It's
has
like
your own
distribution.
idea.
Yeah.
yeah, well, we want to be able to and distrib and all that stuff has changed so much because it used to be you make you make 500 DVD copies and try to sell those, but now it's like you have to get this stuff online somewhere,
You have
streaming
to
or
get it on
something.
streaming. That's all people care about. Physical
Yeah,
media isn't
nobody.
dead, but it's on life support right now, which
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
sucks.
I
I'm a
love it. I
collector.
won't do streaming.
See, I'm a collector. I like having a physical copy of
Damn
stuff
straight.
and with a picture and a DVD box and all
And
that
it's
stuff. I
mine.
like
I
having
can
all that.
play it whenever I want.
I've got a big
Unless it
bookcase that
breaks,
I'm.
unless it scratches.
Oh, this was funny. I went to Goodwill a few weeks ago, and somebody must have dumped off their whole Blu-ray collection.
Ah,
And man, for $1.50 each, I got about 15 of like my favorite movies on Blu-ray. I don't
that's
even have a
awesome.
Blu-ray player right now, but I've got to get one. But I've got a whole bookcase that I'm gonna switch out and move into the room in here and set up a. Once I got to get a Blu-ray player, but I'm gonna set it up and have I was like, man, I got all of the I mean, it was like, who would have dropped these movies off here? I got the whole Universal Studios Monsters collection, like 7
Nice.
movies in one day, never been opened. Still got all the lobby cards and postcards inside. All of the Universal Studio monster movies on deep on Blu-ray that like in one set. And I was like, man, who would have dropped this off? I paid like $2 for it.
Yeah, me and Moody and a guy called John Ward, every month we do a show where we talk about the Blu-rays and the DVDs that we picked up because we're all physical media
And
collectors, and so we're always
Yeah,
buying cheap movies and stuff everywhere.
right.
on YouTube, I have a whole channel called the Blu-ray Hunter. So I go out and I don't show the hunting part, which is kind of funny. You can
Yeah,
consider that. I don't like that. That's actually my least favorite part of those kind of movies is seeing people
right,
hunting for the movies. Uh,
right.
but I absolutely love collecting Blu-rays right now, and I still
Well, like I
collect
said,
DVDs, but
I've got just about everything on DVD still. And
yeah,
but I'm gonna collect both of them. But I have to get a Blu-ray player. I don't have one.
and
I've never really switched over.
I just started collecting these. These are HD DVDs. So I
Wow.
started collecting that, and I'm actually trying to find a. There's a guy in Alabama that has a HD DVD player for sale, and I'm trying to get it and stuff. But he just, yeah, okay. So he just wrote to me actually. So he's gonna give me like a chance to get that. Yep, he's got,
Right. That's cool. But
yeah.
I got everything from like Jurassic Park, Pulp Fiction, uh, Night of the Living Dead, Evil Dead, all this stuff somebody dumped off at a Goodwill. I was
Ah,
like,
So
there we go.
y'all are crazy. I was
he
just
just,
happy that
yeah.
I found it.
Paul just bought King of New York on Blu-ray. So
Okay. But yeah,
so.
I'm gonna I'm gonna set up a little media area over here once I get this room straight. I got a lot of things to get rid of because
Check it out, Sky Sharks.
It's
well, I
I
was
think it's literally about flying sharks and
It
flying
stuff.
is.
sharks.
Yeah.
Ugh. Well,
So much
anyway,
fun.
but what else? What else we need to? What else we're gonna cover here?
Well, I think that's about it. I
Anything?
think because you covered
We
pretty much all your
two
work.
hours, man. This is our
Yeah.
longest show ever.
Is it the longest? It might be close to it.
It's like a Joe Rogan episode. No, but yeah, just I don't have an exact timeline on everything, but I'm gonna start trying to well, like I said, some of it's gonna depend on my ankle. I got to go back to the doctor in about a little bit less than 3 weeks and see where it's at and if I'm because they were initially like you may have to have surgery, but according to them, I think I'm gonna be all right without surgery. So
That's
But
good.
it's not going to heal properly, but it's going to heal. So at least I can walk. And but like I said, we're planning on doing Mad Monster next month. I'm gonna try to promote some stuff, and maybe take a couple of the costumes there. So maybe we'll have some photos and stuff we can put out. And
Yeah. And
yeah, but check out my like I said, it's American Eyesore Films. It's just a page attached to my Facebook page.
Okay.
But
So if you just look up American Eyesore Films, you'll find it.
it should just come up. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So
Yeah,
everybody
like I
can
said,
go
it's a
check it out.
page. Yeah, it's a page that I can switch over to the page, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, I've been putting promotional stuff. I've got the little things that people be confused about right now because there's some promo stuff for a place called Pokey's Barbecue Shack with this little pig character that I created, and I'm
Nice.
probably gonna make T-shirts of it. But yeah, it's part of the
Merchandise.
yeah, it's part of the Terror of Ham Hock story, and I haven't
Cool.
really posted any synopsises yet. I haven't really written them out
it
yet because
sounds
I
like
don't want
there's
to.
a pork theme going on there.
Ham
Yeah,
hocks.
yeah, what? Yeah, well, Pokey Pig has an apron on that says "I love pork" on it. I just
Nice.
always thought it was funny, and you'll remember Paul the Valley Dale. Remember it was always they were like running around with their trumpets, celebrating and eating pork and hot
Right.
dogs and
Right.
bologna, and it's like they were all pigs.
Yeah, I was
I
thinking
just think
that,
it's funny.
you know, Charles Collin, he's another Virginia guy. He was a chicken farmer, so he does a whole bunch of chicken stuff,
That's funny.
which is fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, well, I've had a good time talking to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody go check out Robert Elkins stuff. As we said, was it I know Zombie Isle and was it Alien Swamp Beast are both on
Alien
Tubi.
Swamp Beast is on Pluto,
But
and
it's on
Zombie
Pluto
Isle is on
too.
Tubi.
I think
Yeah.
both are actually
So
on Tubi as well. But if you want to
okay.
check that
Yeah.
out, I just looked it
Yeah.
up.
Okay. Oh, so it is on Tubi too.
Yeah, it is on Tubi.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
Zombie Croc, like I said, Zombie Croc used to be on there, but I think it went out like a few months ago. But
another good place to put it. I mean, I don't know if I guess you don't have any control over that necessarily, unless you
nah.
can talk to the distributor and suggest is Fossum, which is a new,
Yeah, I've
well,
been
sort of
checking out stuff
newish,
on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I tend to watch that quite a bit, but
What's it
yeah, and
called?
then well,
Fossum. It's FAW awesome, like it's
Oh,
Fossum.
oh,
yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah.
all of the trailers for everything are, and actually, if you go to my, if anybody goes to my American Eyesore Films Facebook link page, I actually, when I first opened it up, I posted links to all the trailers that were online, that are on YouTube for all the movies, because there's, I mean, the trailers for everything are out there. Vengeance is a 44 Magnum. The trailer for that's not on anything to watch, but the trailer's out there.
Okay. Cool.
And I mean it's available on Worldwide Multimedia's website. And like I said, you said it was on eBay.
Yep.
That was a little pricey for it though.
Oh,
But
I wouldn't mind spending that much because it's yours. It's like
well, yeah, well, I've got a copy of it somewhere you can check out. But I mean, just check out the trailer. Like I said, it's sort of a blaxploitation movie. It was meant to be. It was, it's like a 70s looking grungy kind of revenge movie.
awesome.
But
Very cool.
Well,
very
thank
fun.
you, Robert.
David Witt's in it. Thank you, Jonathan. I
Okay, yeah,
appreciate
no,
y'all's
we love
time.
David Witt.
Yeah, he's in
And Linda Witt.
yep, she's in Alien Swamp Beast.
Yep.
Both of them are in Alien Swamp Beast.
Yes, they're the was it the mother and father of the kid?
Yeah. But yeah, David's in he's in Vengeance of the 44 Magnum too.
Nice.
But
It's really awesome. I love, like I
it's all
said, I love you working with the
everybody.
same people.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to use who's willing to come out. But I need to find some new additional people. So
We're here. We are here. Let us know.
Stick around because
I'll
I've
have
got
plenty
some.
of roles.
Stick around after because I've got some people to pitch to you actually too.
Okay.
That are around your area. So
Okay.
everybody else, thank you guys so much for joining us. and checking this out, and check out Robert's stuff, and join us soon
Thank
again.
you
I don't
guys.
know when we'll be back on for another one, but we'll be back soon enough, and we'll have another guest. So until then, everybody, bye.
Bye.